Hello everyone, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to build every single artifact that we've seen in the 5 Indiana Jones films. So from left to right here we have the Urn of Nurachi, the Peacock's Eye Diamond, the SAR Stones, the headpiece to the Staff of Ra, the Golden Idol, the Ark of the Covenant, the Lance of Longinus, the Cross of Coronado, the Dial of Destiny, the Antikythera, the Holy Grail, and the Crystal Skull. But let's stop delaying any further and get right into it. Alright, we're going to start off here with the... Whoops, forgot to go grab the idol. I'll be right back. Okay, well, it looks like the temple didn't collapse, so let's go ahead and look at this. So obviously this is pretty easy. It's just the piece from the new 2023 set, which is almost exactly the same as the 2008 piece, but I think it's good. Now, quickly moving on, we've got the headpiece to the Staff of Ra. This is actually a custom decal piece that I made. The design is mine. I created it using Mecha Bricks and Photoshop, which is my method that a lot of people use, and then I made it real. And I was really happy with the amount of detail I was able to get on it. And if you want to see how I decaled this, I just made a whole video about how to do that with figures, but the same rule applies to this. So I've just went ahead and built a very simple staff here, just like the one we see in the movie. And according to my calculations, it is not too long. But we'll just have to see when I put it in the map room the next morning. But either way, I do really like how this came out, and I just love that decaled piece. It looks great, and I'm so happy that my design was able to translate well into physical tile. But let's go ahead and move on to the next artifact. Alright, so here we've got the Ark of the Covenant, and I think it looks really good for what we got, but I'm just gonna crush that up back into its base components so I can rebuild it. Now, obviously, with the magic of editing, I was able to bring in some new pieces, because these are not the pieces used to build the Lego Ark that came in the set, but still, this is my version that I spent about a week figuring out the design, trying to get it as close to scale as possible. So I just figured I'd show you how to build it, and this is kind of the reason why I made this whole video, because I was so proud of this arc. I'm just gonna stop talking for a bit and let you enjoy the build tutorial, because this one does go on for a little bit, so I'll just shut up now so you can enjoy, and I'll come back when the build is done. All right, so I'm back now. I hope you enjoyed watching that quick little build tutorial, but this is the finished arc. I'm super proud of it. Honestly, the one thing I don't like is just that you can't take off the lid, but that was just one of the sacrifices I had to make for it to look good enough, in my opinion. So I hope you like it. All right, moving on to Temple of Doom. This is just like the idol, the Peacock's Eye Diamond. It's basically just that classic Lego jewel piece, and I think that's good enough. Alright, so next up we've got the Urn of Nurachi. So this one was not, I don't want to say complicated, but just trying to get the look right that the artifact does have in the film, with that kind of pearlish, milky transition from dark green up to white, and there isn't really any pieces available at the scale to do that. So I think this kind of works good enough to translate the colors and stuff that we see in the film. And moving on to the main artifact of Temple of Doom are the SAR Stones. Now I've seen some people add these studs on the bottom. I just went with one. I've seen some people do two and put a white stud in between them, but I think it just looks too tall. And I kind of like just having this brown stud here, which kind of is a good mix between the, you know, brownish kind of rock that we see in some scenes and the glowing translucent rock that we see in other scenes. So it's kind of a good mix. And even just the mold with some of those air bubbles helps kind of recreate what it looks like in the film. And now we have the Cross of Coronado. This one was another simple build, but I think the technique I used came out really well. Basically, it's just one of these modified lightsaber pieces with a chain and a jumper plate in the middle, and that chain also comes around to form the top of the cross. Now, I've seen some people do this with a modified jack piece from a car, but I don't really like modifying pieces unless it's a decal. Don't count that. But I think that this is probably one of the best ways to create a fully brick-built cross at a good scale that's not too big or too small. But I mean, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. You can fit it in a minifigure's hand, and that chain isn't too long or too annoying. And I think it just looks good enough in my book. Now, the Holy Grail, really simple, just two pieces, one of those modified studs and an upside down fez. Some people like to use an actual cut piece for it, but I think this better translates the colors and shape we see in the film. And of course, we have the Crystal Skull. I did kind of hope that we would get another set this year with a newer mold, but this is good enough. And of course, we can't just have the skull. We've got to return it to where it belongs. So I'm going to go ahead and back off for another build tutorial. So go ahead and enjoy this one, and I'll be right back. And I'm just going to pop back in here since this isn't going to be a brick by brick tutorial. I figured the chair is simple enough to where I can just kind of show you some of the chunks, and you can recreate it if you want. But the chair wasn't that hard to recreate. It's just the one in the film looks complicated, but honestly, if you have enough gold and tan pieces, it's not that hard to replicate. The entire skeleton itself was actually a super fun build. I didn't like how mismatched the skull was with just the normal skeleton pieces, so that's why I ended up trying to build a larger skeleton out of translucent pieces. And it's so big because in the movie it really is about 1.5 times tall as a person. And putting a minifigure next to this seat with the skeleton in it, it does end up looking almost exactly the scale. I mean, it's probably a little big, but honestly, I'm just really happy with how it came out. And heading into the last film here, we have the Lance of Longinus, Spear of Destiny, whatever you want to call it. Either way, another really simple build. And actually, he was inspired to make this technique by Matt the Wookiee. He makes a lot of Indiana Jones mocks. I'll leave him down in the description for you. I think this is just a really simple way to make the lance, and I think it looks good enough. It's hard to create something that detailed with, like 3 different colors at this scale, but I mean, as long as you're not looking at it from the back, it's fine, but it's fake, so let's get it out of here. And finishing everything off, we have the Antikythera, the Dial of Destiny, as some movie titles may call it. But this one was actually really fun to make. Creating hexagons in Lego is kind of a tough process. I ended up doing it like this, using 2 of these 1x2 tiles with cheese slopes, and then on the other 2 sides using the ingot pieces, which actually have just enough angle on the sides to kind of continue the angle of the cheese slopes up, you'll see in just a second here. And I just put a 1x2 tile in the center with the hole in it just to give a little bit of detail, but it would be cool to have like a printed piece. I probably won't do a decal for this, but who knows what will happen in the future. If I do, you may see it in another video, but honestly it's not likely. And I just had so much fun creating all these cool techniques for this dial, and overall I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I mean, to me it captures enough of what we see in the film. Honestly, it is a little big, but that doesn't really bug me. I mean, creating things like this at minifigure scale is such a tough thing to do, that I just don't really mind. I mean, it's cool enough to just have it as part of my little artifact collection, and I'm just really happy with it. But I think that pretty much finishes off our video here. That's the last of the artifacts, at least from the films. So let's just get this thing out of here for now. After all, I don't need to see Archimedes again. It only works once. Well, that pretty much finishes off this video. I'll set up all the artifacts here, but honestly, I just really enjoyed making this and kind of finally going through and creating all of these things in Lego. I'm most proud of that arc. I'm really happy with how that came out. And I just hope you guys enjoyed this too. It was such a fun video to make, and if any of you guys want to try and make these, go ahead and shoot me an email. That'll be in my channel description, and maybe I'll show these off in a post or a future video. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.